What's up guys, Houndish here, and today we're jumping in with just a little bit of Destiny 2 news and some updates for the week. And so, initially, yes, we'll speak very briefly about the issues with servers that we've been experiencing recently. Arguably those come at the same time that players are already feeling a bit frustrated with the game, so we will talk about that, but also we'll touch on some content updates this week. A quick reminder of the kind of season calendar and some of the main bits of content that we're going to see for the remainder of the season. And then we'll talk about the August reveal, some of the stuff we can potentially expect to see, and some of what players are hoping for with Final Shape and the following year. But then there are also suggestions that Bungie are going to be using the Destiny game engine Tiger for their future titles, including Marathon, and seemingly they're aiming to make a few upgrades to the engine as they move forward. So we'll talk about whether that could potentially affect Destiny as well. Plus we got weekly story beats and a few other things to round up in the video. So as always guys, I hope you enjoyed this one, but now let's get into it. And initially, with the reset and the update yesterday, Destiny ended up with the servers offline for an extended period of time. This unfortunately is something we've been seeing more and more, but going into the season, Bungie had said that they were going to consistently take Destiny offline for 1.5 hours on update days, and the hope was that that would make things more stable, but it would appear that Bungie aren't quite achieving that goal just yet. And they'd also said in a previous blog post that there are some technical reasons that these issues are appearing, and it's something that they're looking to fix in the long term. And despite that extra time that they are taking on update days, obviously those technical gremlins are causing continued problems. But based on Bungie's language in that previous blog post, it now looks like we may potentially see even longer than expected downtime on a pretty regular basis when there are updates. And so players are certainly frustrated about that. It's also coming at a bad time because players are already feeling a bit burnt out on Destiny. So I'm certainly hoping that we'll be able to see some improvements there soon. And I would agree with most players that this is something Bungie should address once again to kind of give us a clearer expectation of what's going to happen moving forward. For now though, that's all we can really say on the issue, so share your thoughts about it down below. But of course, eventually yesterday we did get the update. I made a video with the full patch notes, so we won't break all of them down in this video, but an interesting element that we got added to the game was legendary Salvage. And this also has a pinnacle drop, but otherwise it's pretty much focused around unlocking triumphs and things like that for the season. It's worth noting though, as Ibontis pointed out, it does list that it's a match-made activity in the director, but it actually doesn't have matchmaking. And I know some folks will be frustrated with that, especially since it has the pinnacle drop. And also it's a 6-player activity, so it's not like you can grab just a couple of players. So perhaps Bungie will give us some insights on why that says it has matchmaking but doesn't. Certainly a strange one. Otherwise though, players who've been anticipating the release of a new exotic weapon are going to have to wait a while longer yet. It doesn't appear that anything new is in the game this week. But in terms of the season layout as it stands right now, we should be seeing Iron Banner next week, so that's week 5, and then we'll get the Grandmaster node on July 4th. Solstice of Heroes will drop on July 18th. And of course, for the upcoming exotic weapon, there's a triumph listed for it on week 10. That doesn't necessarily mean it will drop on week 10 though, that would actually be relatively late in the season, so it may well become available sooner. But for the moment, that's pretty much what we know about upcoming content for the remainder of the season. Up next though, a quick mention right here that's worth making, and this week it's been 9 years since the first look at the Destiny Alpha was released, and so, of course next year in September it will be 10 years since D1 was actually released. And it's crazy to think that it's been that long we've been playing the game. And of course this year in particular will be an interesting one as well, because we know that the Final Shape is one of the final kind of significant content releases associated with the Light and Darkness saga as Bungie call it. And so naturally a lot of players are wondering what will be next for Destiny. And there's the sort of short-term element of that, what can we expect to see in year 7? But then the longer-term question of whether we're going to see major expansions released after Final Shape, how Bungie will continue to support Destiny 2, and potentially plans they have for other titles. And that's why the showcase that we're going to see in August will be a pretty major event. We know that for Final Shape, Cade 6 will be returning, and the director for the Final Shape cinematic said, "Our goal was to both gradually prolong the world about to be revealed, while also teasing Cade in his epic return." And so that story element, but also Final Shape in general, are going to be very big elements for the showcase, but then we'll have the launch of Season 22, which is going to happen at basically the same time, so they'll probably show off Season 22 content there, but players will be looking for that longer term aspect to be revealed in that showcase as well. And Bungie have said that during the live stream, developers will reveal details for the Final Shape and provide a look forward into the future of Destiny 2. And of course, we'll be hoping for some good news, continued support of the game, and how Bungie plan to tackle that. But there are these other elements for Destiny, including alternate media that Bungie have discussed. And obviously that only really makes a lot of sense if Bungie are continuing to make Destiny content, right? So as always, I will be sure to keep you posted when we get that reveal at the end of this season. But give us your thoughts below. What do you think Bungie are going to be doing with Destiny 2? Would you like to see another Destiny title, or even major upgrades for the current game? Give us your thoughts down below. There is, however, an interesting article right here from the Game Post, and they've suggested that Bungie's Tiger engine is seemingly set to receive major upgrades for Destiny, Marathon, and future Bungie games. And of course, Destiny runs on Bungie's own Tiger engine. And from the post right here, there are 2 new job listings that suggest Bungie may be upgrading that Tiger engine, including the possibility that Bungie will be running their future titles on the engine still as well. So currently they're looking at an associate and senior tools engineer for Tiger engine sharing. And they say that the developer plans to expand the engine's capabilities to share code and assets between different game projects. Currently we know about Destiny and Marathon, but the Bungie post reads, "Are you ready to join the team upgrading Bungie's proprietary game engine? Are you excited to help build alignment with diverse customers across Destiny, Marathon, and other game projects on the best investments to make?" As a senior tool engineer, you'll help develop tools and workflow upgrades for our award-winning Tiger engine. You'll build new frameworks for continuous integration, automated testing, code integration, and engine customization that'll allow us to share tools upgrades more easily between different game projects. And so it confirms 2 possibilities. Of course, Marathon looks like it will indeed be running on the same game engine that Destiny is, which is interesting. But then there's the extra discussion of whether those game engine upgrades could potentially affect Destiny. And I think certainly a lot of players would be hopeful that that'll be the case, but for now we'll simply have to wait and see. I'd absolutely love it if they could make some technical improvements to Destiny 2, although with those upcoming projects it is possible that these upgrades are kind of geared towards using that game engine for the other titles, so I guess we'll find out in time, but give us your thoughts down below and I'll link the article if you want to check it out. The final thing to touch on here though, and we get a bit of dialogue from the Drifter and Sloan in their weekly catch-up. So of course they have a bit of a heart-to-heart, and then we get more cryptic words from Asa via Sloan in the dive tank. So I'll run that dialogue at the end of the video if you want to check it out, but otherwise guys, that's what we have to speak about today. Relatively quiet on the news front, but as always, if that changes, I will keep you posted. If you've enjoyed this one, a rating below really does help us out, and give us your thoughts about the game currently down in the comment section, but otherwise, thank you for tuning in, and I hope you guys have an awesome day.
Ever been outside of Seoul?
Never had a reason to.
Can't say I recommend it. Saw some stuff while I was out there. Bad stuff. A world colder than you can imagine. Creatures that suppressed the light. My crew. Let's just say we wore out our welcome. Creatures started closing in. Trigger fingers got itchy. Some of us froze to death. A lightless, final death. The others, they didn't go so quiet. Not until I shut them up. Not sure how long I stayed after that. Had to mod my ghost to survive. Used the parts from... I did what it took to get off-world. And now I'm here.
I'm no stranger to combat, but... how did you leave it all behind?
I didn't. Some things you carry with you forever. But eventually, they stop feeling too heavy to lift.
Anathema, calamity, that which cannot, must not come to pass. A wordless denial, a fleeing God, betrayal, and escape. The pursuit for the final shape.